The DNC should be charged for every dollar that is spent in this operation at CNN, because that's all it is. It is a propaganda machine for the Democrat Party, for Antifa, for Black Lives Matter, for Andrew Cuomo, for whatever you want. And there's Chris Cuomo, Fredo Cuomo, and here's the solution to all this. He says, I know the fix. Well, what is it? Go.
How many more die of the pandemic, dying from police shootings? George Floyd, Dante Wright?
You know, this is amazing. First of all, he bundles everything together. Like Dante Wright and George Floyd are the same person. Like the cops are the same people. This kind of propaganda playing right in. This is what liberals do, particularly white liberals or white leftists. They play into the narrative, or they promote the narrative. It's amazing to hear them talk about this when, of course, his brother's responsible for the death of thousands of innocent senior citizens. Really is. Go ahead.
I wonder if you'll remember their names 6 months from today, because they'll be replaced by so many others. You're here, people. What are you going to do when you see these shootings? You know what you're going to do. That George Floyd, did you hear about him? That Dante Wright, did you hear about him? That 13-year-old Adam, you know he was a gangbanger.
Now, wait a minute. I don't even know what to say anymore. This man is a lawyer. He was trained as a journalist. He used to work for, I think it was ABC News. Now he's at CNN. Takes all these disparate cases and throws them into the same bag. Again, this is a sickening mentality. This is a demagogue pushing his narrative, dividing the country, setting media fires, if you will, all over the place. So what happens when he talks like this is you can't take each one of these cases and deal with each one of these cases. You know, when you look at what happened to George Floyd, to throw him in with what happened with Wright is a disparagement of Floyd. And when you look at what happened to this 13-year-old kid and how he was shot and why he was shot, what does that have to do with any kind of systemic anything? Because the circumstances were that cop had a microsecond to make a decision. And you can see from his angle, he thought that 13-year-old was armed and was swinging the weapon. And turns out he was armed. So for a broadcaster to do something like this is really disgusting. And the fact that Jeff Zucker not only tells him to cut it out, doesn't tell him to cut him out, but is part of this propaganda machine is incredible. And the fact that AT&T ultimately owns this newsroom is just shocking to me that they would put up with this without comment. Go ahead.
Why do that? Because you want to make the problem them. Takes the onus off the idea that you're wrong about policing not needing to change. Forget that police are trained to deal with non-compliance with force that is not lethal. Hey, comply or die. You know what I mean? And you know what the answer is? You really do. You don't like it. I don't like it. It scares me. Shootings, gun laws, access to weapons. Oh, I know when they'll change. Your kids start getting killed. White people's kids start getting killed. Smoking that doobie that's actually legal, probably.
That's enough. That's enough. This guy is a head case, absolute head case. This society has spent the better part of a year now, and long before that, but particularly this year, focused like a laser on these issues. Nobody's sweeping anything under the rug. We have Congress that's been looking at this, the Department of Justice, we have state legislatures, governors, we have prosecutors, we have police departments. It's rare that a nation is focused like a laser on a subject like this, but it is. So what is it that he's complaining about? He seems to be saying if more white kids are killed, and I guess that's most of his audience, since he's talking to his audience, then this will receive the attention that it deserves. What attention? What are you talking about? Like it's not receiving attention. What is it that we're supposed to change exactly, ladies and gentlemen? You know what's amazing? What is it that the Democrats come up with their solution? Or Black Lives Matter and Antifa? Abolish the police? Slash their budget? That's the only solution I hear. pull limited immunity from them so you can sue them into oblivion, every single police officer, lining the pockets of the trial lawyers who also contributed to the Democrat Party? What is their solution? There is no solution. Just burn everything down. Give the rioters voice. Position yourself as a good leftist. The liberals in this country are giving aid and comfort to the Marxists in this country to do the things that they are doing to this society. And you will not get the facts, you will not get an honest assessment of what's going on from liars and punks like this. It's never going to happen.
Want to see more? Sign up for Levin TV.